Are you guys ready for a think piece which will blow your mind? I usually don't do those on this channel, but I think I have a good one this time. What do people mean when they call a movie woke? What exactly are the series of tropes, the patterns that we can notice, which gets the audience to call something as woke? And I believe I came up with a couple of them that you can find in almost every single woke movie. And those are the following. Number one is parasitic storytelling. This is something that I heard on the internet recently, and I think it's very apt. Parasitic storytelling means that it's not a new creation. They're not inventing something new. They are using a pre-existing IP in order to create a sequel or a prequel of that IP. So they are latching on to something which already exists, something which is incredibly popular, and they are hoping that the title, the IP, is going to guarantee some people are going to be watching the product. Because if you were to make a movie about the hardship of a transgender person, it might get a couple of people interested, but it's definitely not going to make as many people interested as if you were to make a sequel to Matrix. That's going to generate a lot more buzz. So the parasitic storytelling latches on already established movies and IPs, and it's a lot easier to create if you have a pre-existing blueprint. You don't have to come up with many original ideas if the universe is already established. So that is the first point, the parasitic storytelling. The second point has to do with the purpose of the creation. In the past, movies and TV shows and many stories had the purpose of entertaining the audience. In other words, the author would create an immersive universe where the focus would be on storytelling, character building, making sure that the audience is captivated by whatever it was on screen. Nowadays, however, the purpose is the message, as Critical Drinker likes to put it. The purpose is to educate the audience. Once you captivate the fans from the established IP that you're parasiting, you have them hooked. So now you can push social justice onto them. Now you can change their political leanings, their moral framework, their behavior through entertainment. And this is something that comic book creators recently, as well as game developers, have openly stated that they want to change the world through their video games. Because that is their belief system, that if you have only one type of entertainment being pushed on the audience, then the audience is going to think the way that the creator wants them to think. And this is why social justice activists get very upset when you have an anime or a different piece of fiction that goes against the message. It's breaking the conditioning, as Alex Jones likes to put it. You're making people ask different questions that they shouldn't be asking. Because if you're looking at what is coming out of Hollywood right now, everything is a sequel, a prequel, a remake, a reimagining. And overwhelmingly, they share the same stories. It's about marginalized people, someone fighting against oppression, some people that are managing to break the glass ceiling. That is pretty much all the themes that are coming from Hollywood. And when you have an anime that is about a woman falsely accusing the hero of rape, and then throughout the rest of the story she displays all the negative stereotypes such as vanity, greed, lust, being able to manipulate the people around her, being a professional victim. All of these things are sending a opposite message to the one that social justice wants people to know. So people who watch this anime would start asking questions which give answers contradictory to what social justice activists want to believe. And this is why they try to cancel this anime, because it goes against the message. Point number one is the parasitic storytelling. Point number two is the message. Point number three, how exactly are they planning to change how people think, is to dismantle stereotypes. This is how they call it. So They believe that stereotypes exist in the world mostly because of entertainment. So because people watched movies in the past and saw James Bond as being misogynistic, they saw Conan the Barbarian as being misogynistic. Due to movies like that, it turned society misogynistic. So the solution would be to create only entertainment that counters these stereotypes. And this is why you have the upside down world in most American entertainment right now. Because if the stereotype is that women aren't as physically strong as men, then the woke will try to counteract the stereotype by creating their own stereotype that women are actually incredibly strong. And this is why you see a lot of Hollywood movies where a small, petite woman manages to beat up men 3 times her size, sometimes taking 3 or 4 or 5 of them at once. It's all to challenge this negative stereotype. If the stereotype is that American stories usually have a cisgender, straight, white male protagonist, then the woke will push the other stereotype that the hero has to be anything besides that. If the stereotype is that the elderly person has more experience and knowledge, then the woke will push a reverse stereotype where the young person is a lot smarter and capable than the elderly. So this is called subverting the expectations. And finally, of course, it's the woke washing. Woke washing means that you take a character which is always either white or straight, and you now reimagine the same character as being a person of color or of some sexual minority. And of course, this is never allowed to happen in reverse. And in the very few instances where it did, the creators of the particular movie had to apologize countless times for their hubris. But the reason they do this is, again, to change society. Basically, what happens is that people who do not agree with the woke ideology, they're going to be vocal about these changes. They're going to go on forums and they're going to complain. And this will get the army of ideologues to call them racist, sexist, bigots, and what have you. Basically, they're using movies so that people who aren't left-leaning, they self-identify. They will come out and openly admit that they might be right-wingers, centrists, or whatever, but definitely they're not part of the far-left ideology. And this, in the long run, is going to get them into trouble. It's going to get them into trouble at work. It's going to make it difficult for them to find a job. And again, it's from something as trivial as not liking a movie or giving negative comments about the movie. And this is why you have many people who like woke entertainment and they support it, but they don't actually buy the product. Because it's not about buying the product. It's about showing support to the cause. You're basically saying, yes, Female Ghostbusters is an excellent movie. I fully support it. People who attack it are misogynistic. I, of course, cannot be misogynistic because look at me, I'm going after actual misogynists online. But that person doesn't necessarily go and watch Female Ghostbusters because they're not interested. They probably don't even like it. Like, it's not even the point to like it. The point is to identify different factions in various power structures. Whether that is at work, whether that is in your circle of friends, on Discord, what have you. People simply saying that they don't like a particular American film are identifying as being part of the problem, and the moderators will eventually have to clean them up. Now, of course, you're not going to get banned for saying that you don't like Female Ghostbusters or Captain Marvel or whatever, but you're going to be monitored closely. And you might even find that there's 4 or 5 other people that start to antagonize you and try to get you into a conversation just so you can say something remotely offensive to give the mods the justification to ban you from that particular group. So I think that's what makes a movie woke. It's the parasitic storytelling, it's spreading the message, it's subverting the expectations. And, of course, the most important aspect of them all is the woke washing, which serves a very important purpose to allow the far-left ideologues to know who the problematic people are. Who are the people courageous enough to speak out and self-identify as not being part of the in-group and not appreciating the amazing production by the multi-billion-dollar corporation. So, Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, if you want to help the channel, there's a link right there. There's a link. You can click it. It's a tip jar. And I will get your tips. And in return, you may get some excellent buyer's remorse. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.